I'm drinking our night.
I don't have it.
Just doubling up. Well, I figured I'd rather have too much than not
Okay, if I can have your attention real quick, because there's a lot of more that have showed up, so some heard it, this is the second time I'm gonna tell about it. So in the back, you have, the first one is, your attendance, if you could please sign if you have it. The second one is going to be your citizen's comment, that's where you come up and talk about anything. And then you're gonna have this book, which is your, opinion speakers, where you talk on a specific item. Instead of, and this to remind you what it looks like, this is what the form would when we sit back there, but you would fill it out. And at the bottom, you would normally say that you want to talk about items 1, 3, and 5. Well, instead of doing it that way, you're going to come to the book and you're going to go to item 1, or item 3, or item 5. Just to kind of help us keep it a little bit more organized. So it's back here if you want to fill it out.
My other one was leaking. There's no citizen. There's no citizen comments. No one signed up for citizen. Oh, okay. Oh, the book. I just talked about it. I guess so. Okay.
That's funny. Yeah. That's what you
I kind of needed that.
That's what you yeah.
Yeah. Pretty please. Just hold it down and it'll come on. Thank you. Ready when you're ready.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock. Welcome to the Gunter City Council meeting. It is Thursday, February 15th, 2024, 6 p.m. We're at 105 North 4th Street, in the Public Safety Building. We're going to open the meeting up. We do have a quorum here. We're all here but Spencer Marks. Pursuant to Section 551.127, Texas Government Code, all notices have been posted. And we can get started. So we are going to start with the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Yeah. Chief Jones, would you like to do the invocation? Thank you.
Dear Lord Heaven, we come today to thank you for the many blessings you bestow upon us today, Lord. Most of all, we thank you for sending your Son down the cross for our sins, Lord. Lord, we ask you to be with each and every person here today, our city government, our city leaders, from the municipality all the way to the government, Lord. We ask you to watch over us, keep us safe, guide us, protect us, forgive us when we fail you, and bless all the citizens in the city of Gunter. All these things we ask in your heavenly name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, we had originally, we're going to start with the police chief's report, but I believe we're still waiting on Officer Cole. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move to parks and streets, public services. Adam, is Adam in here yet?
No?
Sorry about that.
Obviously, I haven't paid attention to the order of the agenda.
Sorry.
Good evening, Mayor Council.
Thank you.
This is just an update on the parks and streets. On January 25th, we were awarded the $75,000 Small Community Texas Parks and Wildlife Grant. Shout out to Nancy Neville, the Parks Foundation. Nancy and I worked on the grant together. We're one of 16 cities with a population under 20,000 in the state of Texas who receive these grants. The installation of irrigation that will sort of circumnavigate the majority of the Gunter City Park is scheduled to begin next Wednesday, followed by the planting of trees behind the ones behind City Hall, and an additional 10,000's worth of donated trees will be planted at the east end of the park, parallel to Preston, for the purposes of screening. The Park and Rec Board created a subcommittee at their last meeting to work with staff on a new facilities agreement between the Gunter Youth Association and the city. The subcommittee will take the document to Park Board for approval when we're finished with it, and then ultimately to City Council, probably in May or June. Update on streets. We finished the Preston Glen Street project under budget, but now we are addressing an issue that was raised by the post office, and we are going to pour an asphalt approach in front of all the mailboxes on Preston Glen, and the residents seem very happy with that. It'll make the post office happy. That's all I have.
Awesome, thank you. All right, we will move to agenda item number 3. And that is the mayor's report. So I wanted to introduce our new planning and development director, Eric Wilhide. If you'll come on up, Eric. I posted, a week and a half or so ago, credentials and did a little bio on Eric, and a lot of you might have seen that. I think it was also shared to Facebook too, so it kind of made the rounds, but just wanted to introduce you to Eric, and maybe you could give us a real quick, brief overview of what you're working on, what you can tell us now.
If anybody wonders, I'm 6'7". Ask me. I'm excited to be, with the team in the city. I have 30 years of experience at both the private and public sector side, doing urban design and community planning. Over the past probably 12 or 15 years, I've worked with a lot of smaller growing communities, so I feel like I really bring kind of a skill set that's going to really hopefully benefit you all. I'm excited about it to do that. I'm also a landscape architect, so I know design, so I'll be helping out with some of the parks renovation stuff hopefully as well. If I have time, we're pretty busy, stuff, but I look forward to working with the city and the team and moving things forward and keeping things on the rails and good planning and development coming to the city.
Thank you. Did everybody see get a chance to take a look at the agenda packet? There was a letter from Forney Fence Supply that was pretty encouraging with our new team. So that was something that Eric and myself and Bethany did, kind of our first development deal, and they were very, very pleased with how they were treated. So I'd encourage you to take a look at the packet and read that letter. That was very nice of them to send that to us. So thank you, Eric. We also have a new interim city attorney that has just started, and William, I'm going to go ahead and just read his resignation letter, and it'll make more sense, and then I'll follow up after that. So, from William, Honorable Mayor, I have truly enjoyed the opportunity to serve our city as interim city manager. It has been an honor to represent the city for these past months, and I want to thank you and the amazing staff for allowing me to assist with the many challenges we have taken on during my tenure. Now I find myself called upon to serve in another capacity. Toward that end, I have submitted my application to be on the ballot for the upcoming May election. As such, if I'm elected, I will be unable to continue serving as interim city attorney. I hereby tender my resignation effective upon your acceptance any time between now and the May election, until such time I will continue to serve at your pleasure. And
I just want to make sure you meant city attorney.
did I say manager?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, city attorney. I thought about that when I read it the second time. So William will be on the ballot, and we have hired a new attorney, and of course the council in May will make that permanent should they choose to do that. We're very excited. It's Nichols Jackson. Her name is Courtney Goodman Morris, and she's amazing. So far we've had really, really good meetings with her, and she's already been an asset. So William and Courtney will be working together to make that transition very smoothly for us. So I just wanted to announce that. And thank you, William, for putting yourself on the ballot to serve even further. Very excited. And make sure you'll meet any of the new people that you maybe haven't met yet. We've got a lot of new staff, and amazing staff. Okay, so we're going to move on to the consent agenda, item number 4. And that is to consider approval from the minutes from our last meeting, which was November 16th, regular meeting. And then B is to consider approval of the Gunter Police Department activity report for December 2023 and January 2024.
Make the motion to accept the consent agenda A and B.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I didn't see Connie.
No.
Okay, so one opposed We're gonna move, okay, I don't see Chief Jones back yet. We're still waiting on Officer Fuller. So we'll go ahead and get into the regular agenda. We're on item number 5 to discuss, consider, and act upon the joint interlocal agreement for election services for May 4, 2024 election between the City of Gunter ISD and the county. So we have always shared that so that we have the shared expenses, and that's what we're doing tonight, is to allow me to execute that contract.
I'm perfectly fine with this. I have a question. Why, along with the election, why did we not have on this agenda the street tax?
We pulled it because we had an extension.
And when does the extension last?
Through December.
So will we have to have a special election in November?
We will, but that's on topic of this item, so we're not going to discuss that. What we're discussing here is the joint interlocal agreement for election services.
So I have to pay extra for November.
Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to act upon a joint interlocal agreement for election services for May 4th, 2024 election between the City of Gunter, Gunter ISD, Grayson County Election Administration, and to authorize the mayor to execute the same.
Second. Or she can second.
Okay, that's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous, that carries. We're gonna move on to number 6, discuss, consider, and act upon the joint election agreement between the City of Gunter and Gunter ISD, and authorize the mayor to execute the same.
I'll make a motion to act upon a joint election agreement between the City of Gunter, Gunter ISD, and to authorize the mayor to execute the same.
I'll second.
Okay, Cheryl seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous, that carries. Number 7, discuss, consider, and act upon the interlocal cooperation contract for failure to appear program with the Texas Department of Public Safety for the Gunter Municipal Court. So this is something that's just ministerial. We don't have a choice in the matter. It's new legislation that affects our municipal courts and the way that we handle failure to appears. So,
I'll make a motion to pass this.
okay, got Larry first.
I'll second.
And Patsy second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. And we move on to number 8, discuss, consider, and possibly take action on Senate Bill 2038 petition for release from the extraterritorial jurisdiction received from Adam Urban and Lindsay Urban on February 8, 2024. That is in the packet, so you can take a look at where that is. Right off the Tioga Road. In the past, we had denied these to preserve our rights in the event that this legislation was overturned in the future. It's in the courts right now, looking like a possibility of that happening. So we're here to either officially deny that or allow it to move forward.
I make a motion to deny the Lindsay and Adam Irving ETJ.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous, that carries. Number 9 is discuss, consider, and act upon an ordinance extending the ETJ of the City of Gunter in response to a petition submitted by the owners of approximately 790 acres of various parcels on the property generally located east of Highway 289, located within the northwest-south boundary of Mackey Road and northeast of the city's corporate limits. So we did visit this back in December. It was a partial petition that we approved for Ms. Lucy Walker to join us. Since then, Dorchester did release these properties from their ETJ, and so this is to allow the others on that petition to come into our ETJ. They said that in the future, Gunter would have a lot more to offer than Dorchester, so they would prefer to be in our ETJ as opposed to Dorchester's. So this is back because the rest of the petition needs to be addressed.
I'll make a motion that we table this. I don't have enough information to make a decision, so I'll make a motion that we table it.
So I have a question for you, Larry, because you're the one that actually pushed forward Lucy Walker's.
Well, I'm just making a motion to table it, you know,
For what
because I
reason?
want no more information than what I've got.
Nothing's gonna change. You literally are the one who,
I said I'm making a motion to table it.
okay.
I'll second the motion.
I have a question. Should we not have a more accurate legal description rather than just approximate like we do on others.
We've asked legal about this, we went through it with Lester Ford, we went through it with Munson and Munson, and now I've actually presented it to Nichols Jackson, and they all said that because Dorchester understands what properties they were releasing, that's not even necessary. They've been released to come into our ETJ, I'm not really sure why we wouldn't allow them to. These families have paid thousands of dollars to prepare this petition in legal fees, and by us denying this, I don't understand what the objection is to allow someone to come into our ETJ. So we'd love for one of you guys to explain that to the people if you're opposed.
Well, I do know that Dorchester City Council tabled this multiple times because there wasn't accurate description, legal
They
description.
passed it though recently. It is in effect right now. It is their local law. They passed
I
this.
understand, but this, when you read this, it says generally this many acres and approximately this and kind of
That
sort
is
of
the legal language when you're designating properties that have not been identified with proper addresses yet. It's raw land. That's the process. I mean, this is standard.
I've not been on council forever, but the times that I have been on, everything has had like a actual, very specific legal address, not like a 105 Main Street or something, but it had like ways and means or latitude
You can do
longitude.
meets and bounds. You can also do by property identification that has all the surveys in it. William, do you want to speak to this?
Sure, there's two primary ways to identify property in the state of Texas. One is what most people are familiar with. If you live in a subdivision, I mean blocks and divisions, you'll have a development with a name, like Acme Development, Block A, Lot number 68. That is after it's been platted, it's been submitted to the city. You'll be familiar with that if you look on anything that's in a town. Okay, out in the country, you don't do it that way. You start with the middle of the intersection with a rod driven at the intersection of Smith and Jones. You go 5,000 feet south, by a certain degree off the compass line. You go to the oak tree, you turn left, you follow the fence line. You go all the way around until the meets and bounds and come back to the original iron rod or whatever they drove. And you say it's approximately 16.7 acres. That could be off by an acre or two sometimes, even more. It's not a precise system, it just, that this way it works.
I too am concerned, and there's gonna be a new council in May. I think that they can take this up and they can deal with that then, but this is too vague and too unspecific for me to make a decision. I've never had anything come to me before that was kind of sort of approximately this, or even if you add all of it up, it doesn't add to the numbers that you're saying. I just don't feel comfortable.
It never adds up perfectly.
No. Here we go.
Okay, well, we've had
Unless it's a very
a motion
small
and a
lot.
second. We've had a motion and a second.
I call for the question.
A vote or a
Vote.
question? Okay.
All in favor of denying the Normans and the Strongs petition?
We're tabling.
All right, so we're tabling it.
Table it.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous, it carries. Do we have everyone here too, John? So let's go ahead and make your presentations.
HDMI. It'll need to be on HDMI.
There you go.
One more.
Yeah. There, yeah.
There's three HDMIs, we need to move it to another HDMI.
Where's Adam? This is not. Where's Adam thing?
Go up, scroll up one on with your. Something's gonna be right.
Adam, help.
You got a remote?
Yes.
Up here. I have to say, it's easy. Here you go. Very close.
Movie night.
So we watch Midnight.
Just change it with the input.
This one? Oh, look, try something.
So before we get started with the January 6th monthly city police report, I have a few officers, or a couple of officers I'd like to recognize, and then also two awards I'd like to give away tonight. First, I'd like to thank and publicly recognize Ms. Officer Cynthia Folk for her involvement and enthusiastic participation with the Gunter Police Department's PD Connect mentorship program. Your efforts are greatly appreciated and vital to the continued success of the Gunter Police Department. I hereby award you this certificate of appreciation. Thank you. The next officer I'd like to bring up is Officer Bianca Brown. She too is going to receive a certificate of appreciation for her active involvement and enthusiastic participation with the Gunter Police Department's TV Connect mentorship program and her role as a social media coordinator. Your efforts are greatly appreciated and vital to the continued success of the Gunter Police Department. Bianca. So we hired, if those of you that have been paying attention, we've hired two new officers for the Gunter Police Department. This next officer, I'd like to, before I bring him up, I want to give his a little bio. This officer started his law enforcement career in 2016 with the New York Police Department. He was assigned to various assignments, units such as the El Chapo trial detail in 2018. Which oversaw the protection of the federal trial of the infamous drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. He was assigned to the 75th precinct in East New York, Brooklyn, which served a population of over 100,000 people. While at the 75th, he served with the precinct's violence suppression unit, tasked with combating gang violence and taking illegal firearms off the street. He relocated his wife and two children to Texas in October 2020, where he worked for the Murphy Police Department in Collin County, Texas. He then worked for the Sunnydale Police Department in Dallas County, Texas, where he was recognized by the Texas Department of Public Safety and the Texas DMV for his work with fraudulent paper tags and illegal distribution of the state of Texas dealer tags. At this moment, I'd like to bring up and congratulate Officer Josiah Beck. Josiah is our our newest officer, and he's still completing NTO training as we speak. The next officer began his law enforcement career in 2014 at the Clinton, Mississippi Police Department located in Jackson metro area. In 2017, he began as a McKinney police officer. During his time at McKinney, he served as field training officer, DWI officer, instructor, and patrol sergeant. He also served as a lead instructor for the Collin College Law Enforcement Academy, where he taught police recruits DWI and field sobriety testing. Over his career, he has attended many trainings, classes, and obtained various certificates, including TCOL instructor, SFST instructor, drug recognition expert, and there's only 400 in the state of Texas, mind you. Drug recognition expert instructor, which is only 60 in the state of Texas. He previously received a life-saving award from the McKinney PD. He's also been recognized multiple times by Mothers Against Drunk Drivers for his efforts in DWI. This officer not only did we hire this officer, but he's been recently promoted to the rank of sergeant. Ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you and welcome Sergeant Aaron Williams.
I asked if Faith would like to continue, and she said she's pinned many of badges on Mr. Wilbanks. She tagged me in.
So that means 6 full-time certified officers with the Gunter Police Department and 2 reserves with a total of 8 sworn police officers for the state of Texas for the Gunter Police Department. Very proud of each and every one of them for what they do. Now I'm going to move over to our January police report. We'll go over that shortly. So these numbers represent the total events. And the total events are calls for service that our officers get within the city monthly. So this is a 49 calls for service, and these are multiple, events, anywhere from, thefts in progress, which we didn't have any this month. Thank you. We have calls for service for assisting other agencies. We get a lot of those. Animal calls such as cows, loose livestock, we get a lot of those. We're in rural America, so we get lots of those horses and cows that are astray. Anywhere from traffic accidents, traffic problems, hazards in the road, multiple events. So for this month in January, we had 49 total events. The bottom is citations and violations. We had a total of 74. Okay, so just with the 2 added officers and 1 still in training, mind you, we more than doubled last month's productivity. And these are not just citations, these are stops, these are officer initiated. So this is the calls for service, which dispatch those to when it's alarms and traffic control stuff. But these numbers here, I just want to share with you, is officer initiated. So you're going to start to see more productivity in the 289-121 intersection on Wall Street. I personally went out and served a couple of hours and ran traffic and radar out there on Wall Street on the little section that we do have. I was just up from this Linda Hunter's property, and so I viewed that. I'm also working with Mr. Adam. Mr. Adams and I are going to be speaking with TxDOT to try to lower that from 45 to 35. That road is very torn up, and so it's hard to do 45. 45 on that roadway seems really high because of the visual of a big truck driving down Wall Street. If you try to attempt to do 45 right now, you're probably going to lose the feeling, from driving that fast. But we are going to try to, because they're going to eventually have to fix that roadway, and we're going to try to lower that from 45 to 35. So that is on our agenda. Now, this is the city by grid. Our city is made up in four sectors: the northeast, the southeast, the southwest, and the northwest. This is not to scale, but you'll see where the woods, the high school, Gunter cabinets, just a few that make up the northeast area. The bridges, the Gunter Center, that's just about it. Some of the things that make up the entities that make up the southeast. The southwest is your elementary school and Elm Street. You've got Dollar Store, Sonic, City Hall to the northwest in our downtown area. So a lot of our calls from the downtown area are going to come from the northwest. Okay, just to give you a visual of this next pie graph. Event activity chart for January 2024. You can see just 20.4% in the looks like the southeast. This is other, like when we're called to assist other agencies, or we're outside our county or outside our city, when we're in another jurisdiction's city or in the unincorporated areas. The northwest, again, 30.6%. It seems like it's high, but this is because this is our downtown area. This is kind of our bread and butter. The folks, majority of the folks here at Gunter, they're 30.6, and then northeast, and then 6.1 is again county. Again, this is just another bar chart showing the event activity and these are just calls for service within the Gunter Police Department. This was our arrest report for January, for the month of January, which we had one arrest, and that was for a warrant. So when you increase your activity, such as these officers, when we're increasing your productivity as far as individual, officer-initiated stops, like stopping cars for, no tags, stopping cars for speeding. Those are officer-initiated stops. When we start to increase our numbers here, so does our productivity. It's kind of like when you're fishing on the banks. The more poles you have in the river, the more chances you're going to get a chance to get a bite, right? So when we increase our officers, our productivity goes up. Our visual of the officers go up, our deterrents go up out there, and then in this case, when you stop a lot of cars, you're occasionally going to get people that have warrants for their arrest, and this is what happened here. Now this is the citation activity chart for January 2024. You can see speeding is 56.8%. That's high, but speed, seatbelts, and DWIs are the main three factors that kill every year in the state of Texas. Nationwide also, but in the state of Texas, speed, seatbelts, and DWIs are the top three. So when we increase our productivity as far as speeding, also with, I hate to say it, it's kind of an autobahn right now out there on Spur 121. It's the toll road right now. So We've had increase in our officers, but so do we go out and increase our activity out there for the activity. So we're trying to get out in front of that. This is just another chart that shows our activity for January. And then this is just the racial profiling totals. This is from the Sandra Bland's Act. We had a total of 74 total stops, and then it goes on to tell you, what category that we were at. Just for instance, we had stopped 50 males, 0 males in the Alaska Native American, 3 males that were Asian, 7 males that were black, 29 that were male white, 11 males Hispanic, 24 females, 0 females Alaska or Native American, 0 males or females that were Asian, 3 females that were black, 19 white females, 2 Hispanic females, and gender unknown was 0. And so those are just some of the things that we have to list for the state of Texas when it comes to because of the Sandra Bland Act. So this in a nutshell, I don't know if we've ever shared this with the public, but I want to be transparent. Okay. The last thing I wanted to share with you.
Chief, we put all these in the previous packets. If you guys want to go back and look at agenda packets prior, we started doing that in August. You can compare and see that more officers out there protecting the city. You can see the change.
We're going to get more bang for your buck.
It's
Okay, that's what it really boils down to. I want to share this photo with you. I call this photo truth, or it's trust through transparency and accountability. We just put graphics on this patrol unit. This is Unit 300. It's the unit that the Chief of Police drive. We've recently put that on there. So what I can tell you is this will always be used for police activity, period. Not for family events, not for family vacation, but for official officer business. And that's all I have. Thank you.
So even though we changed our book to make it a little more streamlined, I messed it up. You had it open for me on number 9. I did have 2 people who wanted to speak to number 9. Go ahead, Chief, go away.
Sorry, Mayor and Council, members of the governing body. We were going to recognize Mr. Roy Lehman, Pastor Roy Lehman.
Oh, that's right.
He was unable to attend tonight, so we're going to do that next month. His daughter, they're in the playoffs for basketball, so he wanted to attend that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
I missed that one. So I did have 2 people who wanted to speak on agenda item number 9. If you still want to, I need to give you a time to do that.
It's a good point now.
You can still say what you wanted to say. Okay, and then I had Jerry too. So the 2 of you. I'm so sorry.
Excuse me. Hope y'all can hear me. I'm losing my voice, so I hope you can hear me. I guess since Connie and Larry, y'all want to actually make problems with it, so I'm gonna see if y'all can clarify something for me. You're asking for something more for these this property situated in ETJ. The ordinance within your packet is giving the survey name, the survey number, amount of acreage, the CAD ID number, the geographic ID number, and the address of the property. So what else is there? Am I missing something? It's all there in the packets. So what else can we be looking for? I'm just curious because I want to know what we're looking for too, and I'm interested in going with the Planning and Zoning Commission, and if there's something else that needs to be included in these things, I'd like to know it. But to me, that's all there. That tells me exactly what we're looking for, exactly where the property's at. Is it not? Try to get an answer. Okay.
Sorry, Jerry. Okay, so we are going to then there was citizen comments. I do not currently have anybody signing up. If you want to do that, I will open that. You have 3 minutes, come up to the podium, state your name, address, and then you can have one opportunity to speak. Now, citizen comments, this is the area where it's anything at all, not necessarily what's on the agenda, but we can't answer questions back except with factual information because it was not posted. Go ahead.
E.G. Rich, 1394, excuse me, Pike Road. I wanted to speak on the regular agenda number 9. And I know you guys can't answer me, but I'll just start off by saying, when you guys approved all last December, November, when you approved all these 3 plats of 8 lots in the city, did you request a legal description as you're doing now for the 700 plus acres requested by the anonymous? Interestingly, Mr. Peters, on the December 6th agenda, made a motion to approve ordinance 2023-12-1601, extending the ETJ in response to the petition from Lucy Strong Walker. Did you request the legal description before you made that motion to accept that? And it did pass 4-0. So now we're stipulating, Connie, that you're wanting, you had this was heard November, December, and you had 3 months to do your research. Each of you had 3 months to do your research. And you could have easily looked up what Grayson County had. That speaks volumes right there. It's volume. And y'all had plenty of opportunity to do your research finally. And you didn't have reached out to the attorneys, and you reached out to Mr. Stevens. I'm going to take that as a no, can't answer. But again, that's your job. If you're going to come up here and come to a meeting and just for the mere reason of coming to this meeting and denying or passing, tabling an agenda item, that was your sole purpose to come to this meeting today. And again, you have 3 months to do your research, and nothing's changed. You have reached out to the mayor, you reached out to the attorneys, and you reached out to the ordinance. They spent lots of money, lots of legal, and they have researched this. And also, one last point I'd like to make, it's come to my knowledge that Connie Eubanks and Larry Peters visited the city of Rochester when this came onto the agenda initially. And they didn't want them to release that land out of their jurisdiction. So that'll tell you a lot right there. So I just hope y'all can sleep very well tonight.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Gallagher?
Mike Gallagher, 1621 Carson Ridge. We're beating up number 9. I'm ignorant. How does this help the city if we bring this 790 acres into the city? And on the other side, how does it hurt by playing games? So how does it help the city? So I got 2 questions. How does that 790 acres help the city?
So I'll speak to it because it is an agenda item. Normally, if that were citizen comments and weren't posted, I couldn't answer that, except with just strictly factual information. So we did present this in December. This is a group of landowners who want to be in our ETJ so that they're not in Dorchester's ETJ by default. That's where they were. They asked to be released, they were released. What they told us is that in the future, obviously, the city's gonna get bigger, it's gonna spread at some point, they'll be annexed in. That's what they want. That is good for us for taxes. Their property taxes come into the city. They want to be a part of Gunter because they said it has a lot more to offer. I don't know why we're denying them that.
Okay, and they've spent money to do this, and now they're in limbo because
Thousands of dollars.
people
They're
decided
waiting.
they wanted to change their mind late. I thought it was gonna be a new year.
I have one more hand, and then we'll, okay, go ahead, come on up.
My name is
Sue Stratton, I live at 1529 Wolfridge Drive in the Bridges. So you were speaking earlier, part of the agenda items, about our current interim mayor resigning, and that he's posting for his position on the city council. Good luck to you, Mr. Stevens, for that. I also know that tomorrow is the closing date for applications to be submitted and approved, I guess. Not sure about that. Qualified, yes. Okay, so you either get qualified or rejected. So when will the city provide that information to us, the citizens of Gunter? It's my understanding that by state law or ordinance, I'm not really sure about which that is, that we can ask on everyone that has been, what did you say, qualified? Qualified.
Any citizens has the right to come up and ask who submitted ballots.
Yeah. Okay, so when will the city put forward an information?
We'll announce that.
When?
As soon as it closes.
And that would be tomorrow.
Well, right, so tomorrow is the regular application process that closes at 5 o'clock. Then there's a write-in process that goes through Tuesday at 5. So after Tuesday at 5 o'clock, Wednesday, we'll make an announcement, let everybody know who's on the ballot.
And would you please make that announcement on your official website instead of on Facebook pages? Thank you. So that'll be Wednesday, the 20.
We'll do it Wednesday.
Wednesday, what name was that? 21st, by 5 p.m., right?
Sometime Wednesday, probably far earlier than
Okay,
that.
thank you.
We'll do it.
Thank you, Sue.
Anybody else before I close it?